What's going on, YouTube? RDAP Dan here, Federal Prison Time Consulting. Hope you guys are having an amazing Monday. And we'll give you all a few minutes to join us here. It's been a minute since we've done an actual video. We've done a lot of streaming from the vehicle, but here we go. Let's get back off to the week on a right foot here. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the process of how long a process takes when somebody's waiting for a potential sentencing. Pre-trial experience, waiting to get indicted, you're under federal investigation. And one of the questions that so many of you ask me is, how long does this process take and when can I just start my time? Because the not knowing, the uncertainty of what's coming next, not knowing how much time you're going to receive, having no idea what prison could actually be like, this can create a very, very insecure feeling to the point where it becomes so overwhelming you actually get nothing done. So that's going to be the topic of today. Sanser Santana, remember Greasy? Yes, I do. I remember both of you. How are you doing, Sanser? Sounds like you're out, home and free. Welcome back. So we're going to give you guys a few more seconds here to join us and we'll get started. If you haven't done so, take a moment and go ahead and text the word YouTube to 76626. That will put you on our text message notification list. This way, when we get ready to go live, you'll receive a text notification with a link to the video as well as a description of what the content is going to be about. This will help to make sure that you do not miss any of the live streams. Also, if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Go ahead and tap the bell for the notifications. Turn on your notifications or you may not receive updates when we go live. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Share. I'm nervous. I'm reading a message here from Cat Hell. Trying to get my thing to work over here. Cat says, if I can get this, there we go. I'm supposed to turn myself in July 1st. Where are you turning yourself into, Kat? And what's your biggest fear? What are you dealing with right now? When you say that you're nervous, what exactly are you nervous about? Because I'm sure a lot of people are going to relate to this situation. I know I was nervous. Getting ready to go to federal prison, it was like, I can't believe I'm actually going to turn myself into federal prison. It felt like it was a very foolish decision at the time, getting ready to actually drive yourself to prison and turn yourself in. D. Sylvia, that is right where I am after finding out I will have this little ankle prison on for maybe 2 more months. Awesome. Sanser, you did RDAP. Oh, congratulations, Sanser. Sounds like you knocked some time off of your sentence. Kat, you're going to Dublin. Dublin is not the worst place in the world. I'm sure if you go online and Google, you will find horror stories. A lot of these horror stories are from individuals that had poor experiences in prison. And a lot of the poor experiences that we encounter usually comes from self-inflicted poor experiences. You're not doing the right thing with your time. You're focusing on everything that's negative. You're not paying attention to the lesson that you could be learning. And this can create a very, very, very poor experience if you choose to have a negative outlook. So having a positive outcome is really one of the best, or a positive experience. One of the best things you can do is to have a positive outlook. You know, it's easy to point out all of the negative things that are going to happen while you're in a potential federal prison situation. But if you can wake up each day and focus on the positivity, this really can help with your time. Santana, you did 24 months. Wow, it's been that long since I've spoken to you. Well, congratulations and welcome home again. And this is water. I don't know if this looks like a beer can or anything, but I'm drinking water, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys know, I made a transition back to South Florida a couple weeks ago from Spokane, Washington. So I apologize for being away for so much time, but it's just been a nightmare getting everything set up. And I'm not going to lie, I've been a bit of a beach bum being back in South Florida, really enjoying the weather, trying to get outside as much as possible. Santana, oh, you did 10 months. Okay. 24 months and you did 10 months. Got it. So, Kat, make sure you add us to Core Links and make sure you keep in touch with us. This way, if you're having any issues while you're inside, you can definitely reach out to us. So how long does it take from the time you start your situation until the time that you end up going into federal prison? That time can vary, but it's not uncommon for the situation to take a year or longer. I know many situations of individuals that have been out since 2015, 2016. They became under federal indictment or they're under federal investigation, and they're still under indictment, waiting for sentencing, waiting for plea agreements. Obviously, if there's a lot of people on your case and you have a lot of co-conspirators, the longer that, or the more individuals that are on there can really drag out that type of a process. So there is no cookie cutter situation, but it is not uncommon to be several months, if not a couple of years. And the problem is you have so much time ahead of you that you really start looking ahead at the time. You start thinking about, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? What's coming next? I don't know what to do. And this prevents you from being in the moment. This prevents you from doing what's necessary. This prevents you from spending time with your family and actually embracing that time and being settled in the moment, being able to enjoy the last few moments of freedom that you have, temporary. This is a temporary setback for most of you. You will be free again. Just go ahead and ask Sansa or Santana. Now, Doug Bartley, what's going on, my man? Welcome, welcome. Many of you, we just had Father's Day yesterday, so a lot of you that watch this channel and pay attention to my videos, a lot of you are fathers. And ask yourself an honest question. How focused were you yesterday on Father's Day? How many of you really didn't allow yourself to enjoy your time with your children, whether it was in person or over the phone or sending an email? How many of you were so focused on the fact that you're probably going to be going to prison sometime in the future that it stops you from enjoying the moments that you're dealing with right now? Now that's a perfect description of how that can affect everything else as well, because if it's affecting that, if it's affecting your experience to be able to spend time with friends and family and enjoy the time with your friends and family, it's definitely probably affecting what you're doing to actually properly prepare. We've got some amazing clients, and then we've got some clients that are dealing with a lot of struggle. If you're properly preparing for federal prison, that means you are dealing with what's in your control and trying to not focus on what's outside of your control. So what's something that's in your control? What's in your control is how you allow yourself to feel, think, and act. So if you wake up in the morning and you're in a funk and you start thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to go to federal prison, my attorney's not answering my phone call, what am I going to do? Some of that's out of your control. You can always pick up your phone, you can send your attorney in an email, but more importantly, what can you be doing right now to mitigate your own circumstance? You know there's certain things that your attorney is going to do. He's going to, or she is going to, hopefully help you with your plea agreement, make sense of your pre-sentence report. They're going to tell you what to expect. They're going to encourage you whether you should take a plea or possibly go to trial on some rare occasion. But what is it that you can be doing in addition to that to help your own situation? What are you doing with your day-to-day right now? What are you doing to start changing your mindset? And how are you looking at this situation as a positive? I've actually made myself some notes here, so let me take a peek at my notes. When you start thinking about what you can do to increase the outlook, you can start focusing on being grateful for certain situations. How can you find gratitude in this situation? What lessons are you taking from this? So many individuals, when I speak to them initially, they're in a very victimized state of mind. The government's out to get me. They're giving me too much time. They don't want to give me a plea deal. They won't give me probation. I didn't murder anybody. I didn't rape anybody. And you feel like the system is unjust. Is the system unjust? Is the system fair? Probably not. It probably is unjust to an extent. They probably do sentence too many people to prison for too long of a period of time, specifically when we're talking about first-time offenders, nonviolent offenders. And do first-time offenders and nonviolent offenders actually need to go to prison? Probably not. The pretrial experience for a lot of us is so traumatizing that that's probably enough. But what can you do to increase the influence? And please let me know if the stream is getting choppy here. It looks like it's starting and stopping on my side. I may have to beef up this internet here in South Florida. But some of the things that you do have control over is what type of work you're putting into your day-to-day. Have you actually thought about personal narratives, character reference letters, and what a difference this can make? For those of you that are looking at the possibility of reducing your sentence, somehow trying to create the possibility of the judge giving you the lowest possible sentence, if not probation, If you're looking to qualify for things like RDAP, the Residential Drug Abuse Program, if you're interested in getting additional halfway house through Second Chance and qualifying for pre-release credits through First Step Act, there is a lot of homework that you should be doing right now to prepare yourself for that best possible outcome. And as you can see, Sanser just said, RDAP is stressful, but it's better than the other units. It's clean, organized, like a 2-star hotel. 2-star, not a bad way of putting it. Clean restrooms. At least it was like that in Pensacola. So she did her time in Pensacola, and that's pretty much, truth be told, that's almost exactly what RDAP is comprised of. The program is very stressful because they're holding time over your head. If you finish the program successfully and graduate, you can reduce your sentence by up to a year. But that carrot that's dangling over your head in order to incentivize you to get the time off means you're being held to a higher standard than other inmates throughout the prison. You all have the same rules, but certain rules are not enforced in prison at all unless you're in the RDAP unit. When you're in the RDAP unit, almost every rule and regulation is enforced to the T. You steal a sugar packet out of the chow hall, that could be a situation for you. So you really got to pay attention to your surroundings and realize that you're either going to be your worst enemy or you're going to be your biggest advocate for sentence reduction and getting back to your friends and family as soon as possible. Focusing right now on what you can control. Focusing today on what am I going to do today that I didn't do yesterday? What type of odds and ends am I putting off? How am I procrastinating? How am I dealing with my family? What have I told my family? You know, there's nothing easy about getting ready to go to prison. And it's easy for a lot of people to say, oh, you're going to a white-collar prison, you're going to go to a camp, you're going to go to a low, especially when you hear about people already in prison and you hear about how cushy it is. The individuals that make these statements, they don't know the traumatizing circumstances that we go through waiting to go to prison. Is it horrible getting arrested today, sitting in county jail the entire time, and then getting sentenced to go into prison? Yes, that's horrible as well. But when you're in jail, when you're sitting in county jail locked up, you're not sitting out here in the free world just imagining. The idea of what jail is going to be like is usually far worse in the imagination than it is in the reality. So people that are sitting in jail right now thinking, I wish I was out on pretrial, you're so lucky. There is a lot of benefit to being on pretrial because you can really focus and work on your case. You have the ability to advocate for yourself in a much different way than you would if you were sitting in a county jail experience. But at the same time, there's also this mental prison that you put yourself in because you see everything in front of you. You see your friends and your family, and you're sitting on your couch and you're laying in your bed and you're eating real food, but you're constantly thinking about, when is this going to expire? When are the feds going to come knock on my door? When is my attorney going to call me and tell me we have court tomorrow, or the plea deal is in, or this is how much time I'm looking at? There's so many uncertainties when you're dealing with this situation that it creates a ton of hurdles in your mind that prevent you from moving forward. Gets to the point where you're kind of like an ostrich, where you stick your head straight in the dirt and you don't do anything. So if you have the ability to be free right now and you're out, and you know that there's a good chance that you are going to prison, the best thing that you can be doing is picking up a phone, giving somebody like myself a call, or shooting us an email. Speaking of emails and phone calls and websites, the new website is pretty much functional. You can head over to that, and it's we're actually, RDAP Dan now points to the original website that we originally started several years ago, federalprisontime.com. As you can see, it's not updated on the banner on this live stream right now, but federalprisontime.com. That's the new home for our site. I'm going to be having some interesting interviews. We're going to have some next week. A lot of you, I'm going to introduce you to Jenny Good, who's been part of the team now for about 2 years. She does a lot of our mindset coaching. She does a lot of the narratives, character reference preparation, and a lot of you have spoken to her, but not many have actually met her. So we're going to bring her on the channel. We're going to do an interview with Jenny, and she's really going to dive and dig into narratives and character reference letters and the importance of these and how they truly can make a difference, especially when the opportunity for possible probation is on the table. You know, what happens when people get on probation? Have any of our clients messed up while they were on probation? Well, we have a client right now who should have gone to prison. He ended up receiving a 5-year probation sentence instead of prison. And he was, an amazing success story, but he's sitting in jail right now, county jail, and he's probably going to get sentenced to 36 months for a violation of his supervised release, of his probation. He made a mistake. He committed a new crime for no reason other than stupidity, and he's the first to tell us that. He actually called me a day before they came and arrested him and told him that he violated his probation. And it just baffles me that he allowed this mistake to happen. However, you got to realize that this just proves how easy it is to get complacent. So many of you are going through what seems to be the toughest period of your entire life right now, just like it was for him, but yet he got complacent while he was out on pretrial supervision and he violated, and now he's very likely going to go spend 36 months on his violation in prison. Very, very rough to be in that type of situation. So it's easy to say, oh my God, what a dummy. Did he make a stupid choice? Absolutely. But I promise you, once your prison experience is over, you are going to find yourself falling right back into whatever situation that you were in prior to all of this if you don't really work hard on remembering what it is that this feels like. This is why it's extremely important to take notes, keep a journal, talk to your family, have others holding you accountable. Tell people what your triggers are. Tell people what it is that makes you want to potentially commit a crime or think that you can get by with something where other people aren't supposed to. How are you justifying rules to fit your own situation? If you don't pay attention to what you're doing and you allow yourself to become complacent once again after all of this is behind you, this will become your future again. When you hear about people going in and out of the prison system, sometimes people are just, no matter what, they're career criminals and they're going to make that mistake. But a lot of first-time nonviolent offenders, white-collar individuals, what you did may not have been the end of the world. But once you get finished with your situation, you're more than likely going to be on probation for a period of time where your life is under a microscope. I can tell you what our client did that has him sitting in county jail right now. It's not the end of the world what he did, but because he's on supervised release, he was scrutinized for what he did, where the average person, it probably would have been a slap on the wrist and told not to do that again. For him, it's pretty serious. Hello, Trill. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. So the content of these videos and the message that we always try to convey is the level of preparation and the level of the work that we do with our clients, from narratives, character reference, PSR preparation, helping you qualify for the residential drug addiction program, helping you engage in the community. A lot of you are trying to do designation changes. Maybe you found out where you're supposed to be going to prison and it's too far away from your home. Maybe many of you have been sentenced and you have a date to self-surrender, but you haven't been designated to an actual location yet. And you need somebody to prepare a motion to your judge asking for an extension to self-surrender in order to give the Bureau of Prisons time to designate you. Maybe you have a medical condition and there could be all types of reasons as to why you may need to do something. Maybe you're on supervised release right now and you're trying to find out if you can terminate your supervision a little bit early due to good behavior. Maybe you need to travel for work. You just don't know what's going on, but you know that supervision is prohibiting you from doing so. These are all situations that we can help you with. If you truly had an attorney that did not do the job that they were supposed to do, and you're interested in a Rule 35, if you're interested in how you can file a motion for ineffective counsel, and you want to know what that process is, maybe you took a plea agreement and you didn't understand the terms, your attorney told you to do something that wasn't in your best interest, and you're now hearing about 2255s, ineffective counsel, and you're ready to go file one, I highly suggest that you reach out and shoot us an email first. Give us a little background story of why you think you should qualify for ineffective counsel before you go and file motions, because a lot of the times what you think should be a valid reason very well may not be. And before you go spend thousands of dollars on an attorney to file these motions for you, make sure that you're not just wasting your money. Everybody has a different situation. I thought no probation in federal system. Roger, I think you're thinking of parole. There's no parole in the federal system, but yes, there absolutely is probation. There's probation and supervised release. And the big difference is let's say you're going to court and the judge says, no prison time, but I'm going to sentence you to straight probation. You'd be under the jurisdiction of the federal court, probation. If you go to prison, and once you're released from federal prison, then you're going to be on probation, but it's called supervised release. The difference is if you violate probation, the probation officer can violate you on the spot and take you to jail. When you're on supervised release, if you have a violation, you have to go back in front of the judge. You get a court date, you go back in front of the judge, and then the judge determines what's going to happen next. So it's not up to the probation officer. But there is absolutely probation and supervised release in the feds. But parole, I think, is what you're referring to. There is no parole. And let me know if that's what you were thinking. Again, if you haven't done so, take this moment to go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We're still a growing channel. Subscribe, like, all of that good stuff there. And don't forget to text the word YouTube to 76626. That'll put you on our notification list. Me and my daughter are surrendering to federal prison on July 3rd. What are the chances of us getting into the same prison? Are you guys, I know you guys are co-conspirators, but do you have separatees against each other? Did you testify against each other? Or are you guys basically on the same page and everything's okay? If that's a situation, it's very likely you could end up in the same prison. Me and a couple of my co-conspirators were all at the same prison in Coleman Low. So you actually can end up in the same prison. Absolutely. It's just up to the BOP. They typically will try to separate individuals, so it is a possibility you won't go to the same prison. It would be nice if you did. Definitely makes the situation a lot more doable if you have a family member or a friend. Let's go in the buddy system. Who wants to go to prison with me? Raise your hand. Wouldn't that be amazing? They gave you the option at sentencing. Is there anybody you would like to bring to prison with you? Because I'll go ahead and sentence them too, sir. No, just same charges. So yeah, there is a possibility, Sarah, that you guys will be designated to the same prison. Guys, I don't want to make these videos too long. I know a lot of you have a lot of stuff to do. I know everybody's getting ready for the 4th of July, but a lot of you are sitting here thinking, God, I just want to get this over. Why is this taking so long? I can't focus on anything because all I'm thinking about is what's going to happen next. You're losing sleep at night. You're having horrible thoughts run through your mind. You're thinking your family's never going to be the same. You're thinking no one's going to hire you after federal prison. Guys, I'm here to tell you that this horrible situation that so many of you are going through right now, this can be one of the biggest blessings in your life if you so choose to see it that way. If you focus on what positive could come from this, and not everybody's going to have an amazing positive experience in prison, but if you force yourself to focus on how this is going to benefit your life, what good can come from this. And one of the biggest things that can really come from this is when you look internally, you're probably going to find out that you allowed yourself to make some poor choices that put you into this situation to begin with. There's typically going to be some red flags and some warning signs that you avoided, not paying attention to it, that hopefully is in your awareness now, to where when you see those same red flags in the future or those warning signs in the future, that little voice that pops up on your shoulder telling you, hey Dan, stop being an idiot, this is a really bad idea, and you flick them off your shoulder because it offers a solution to your immediate needs of your immediate gratification. If you can give in and realize that maybe you were greedy, you made some poor choices, you didn't have the best rational thinking process, you maybe had a very irrational thought process to the point where an irrational thought process became rational for you. If you can really look deep and see how this affected your life, your friends, your family around you, and stop being a victim about this, stop crying the game on how unfair this is, and just own it, wear it like a tattoo, wear it proud, and say you screwed up. You're going to make the choices you need to make. You're going to make your family proud. And the best thing you can do right now is tell your family how important it is and how respectful you are that they're supporting you. Not everybody has a supportive family that follows them through this system. The biggest thing is don't think you should do this by yourself. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. No matter what you did, no matter what your crime is, I will never judge you. I can't say what other people are going to do. But if you really believe that you want to change, you have to come clean with your friends and family. I'm not saying go out and start telling strangers that you're a convicted felon, you're getting ready to go to prison. Not everybody's going to understand. But if you have friends and family out there and they don't know what you're going through yet, I'm telling you, you're doing yourself an injustice by not telling them. The minute you start telling people that you care about what you did, just weights start flying off you. You start feeling better. You start embracing life. And now you can start focusing on what you can actually do to mitigate your own sentence. Not doing this alone is probably the number one key component to a successful journey. That's why my phone number is on the screen. All you got to do is give me a call, 509-434-4695, and shoot me a text message if you don't want to call me. Some of you are a little shy. You may not want to talk. So let's kind of take baby steps. We'll put some training wheels on this process. Shoot me a text message, 509-434-4695, and just say, hey, I'm interested in talking. I don't know what I should be doing. What's the first step? I'll start asking you some questions. You're going to have some answers. And before you know it, we're going to be like attached at the hip. We're going to be best buds. We're going to get you through this. You're going to get yourself through this. Nobody is going to work harder on this than you are going to work yourself. There's no magic wand. There's no magic pill. Anybody that gives you a promise, anybody that guarantees to get you into RDAP, or anybody that promises to reduce your sentence, they're after one thing. It's the money in your pocket, and they do not care about your outcome. The only thing that we can promise is we're going to put every bit of effort into the situation to make sure that you do have the best possible outcome. And that best possible outcome may very well mean a prison sentence. Before we go, I told you guys about a client that got remanded at sentencing. I think it was last week. He got remanded at sentencing, and nobody saw it coming. This is not a typical situation. He should not have been remanded. And he was also sentenced to the high end of the guidelines, which is also not typical when somebody's cooperating and doing the right thing. So when this happened, when his wife called me, and she was pretty erratic, she was in tears, she was very sad, told me the sentence, told me what happened, I kind of felt like a failure. I felt like we should have somehow been able to do a better job. And when he called me from prison, he called me from jail, and he told me, he said, hey, after I started to say, I apologize, I wish we could have done more. He said, no, man, I'm so appreciative for everything that you and your team have done. I've been able to sleep at night. I knew this was a possibility. You never promised me anything. You never gave any false guarantees. Was I hoping for a shorter sentence? Was I hoping to not be remanded? Of course, but I was prepared for this. And I'm laying in my bunk right now. And I remember you saying, Dan, you always would say that there's going to come a time where you're laying in your bunk and you don't want to wonder what could you have done differently. Well, that's exactly what he reminded me of. And it was refreshing to hear that, because not everybody is going to have the best possible outcome. Or at least you may not see it as the best possible outcome. But at least if you've done everything within your power and you've tapped into every resource available to you based on your financial situation, based on your comprehension, and you know that you did everything that you could personally do, you can't beat yourself up. You can hold yourself accountable, and you can use this thought, how you feel right now, as a tool to hold on to so you don't allow yourself to fall victim to this again in the future. But the only victimized situation is you victimized yourself by not holding yourself accountable, by not listening to that little voice on your shoulder, by turning a blind eye, turning left because you thought there was a shortcut instead of putting in the work and the effort to get to where you wanted to go. If you can honestly look at that, if you can honestly embrace that and realize these are the concepts that are going to get you through this situation, everything else that we're going to do here behind the scenes, it becomes easier and easier because you have the right mindset. Creating a new mindset will create new choices. Creating new choices will create new habits. And once you've got new habits, you're going to have new outcomes, better, influential consequences. All right, guys, that's all I got for you guys. I'm RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting. People helping people one day at a time, communities method. Don't forget to come check us out at federalprisontime.com. That's the new home of our website. Also, don't forget, text the word YouTube to 76626. Subscribe, like, and share. I love every single one of you guys, and I will be back on Wednesday. All right, guys, have a great day. Peace.